Welcome to the Real CP Show. I'm your host, CP. And today's topic, this Perv, special education high school teacher, which is a Anglo minority woman, had sexual relations with an underage boy student. Where is the super outrage at this? Where is the we must protect our boy students? Where is all that at? Where is it at? Of course not, because the hypocrisy of this is very real. So the thing about it, there are people, numerous people within various sections of Americanism, the one this applies to, that have grown up, the ones, even some young ones that have been ingrained with thinking when they sit there and see a picture like this, it is about wholesomeness and angelicness, right? And instead of looking at them as they are inside, a demonic perv like this one, right? And this is why those type of demonic pervs and under feminism do just like this. When they know numbers of people, they short circuit and they don't want to accept that there are numbers of violent women, numbers of rapist women, numbers of sexual assaulter women, of underage boys like this, right? They don't like to sit there and accept this reality, right? Because if this was a male teacher doing this, oh, it'd be super hell to be paid for. It'd be like, oh my goodness, political people, you must pass some laws to protect our underage girls, right? I mean, the games are so easily seen through when you know these little silly tactics they continue to do. They're hypocrisiness, right? But again, they know that there are certain numbers of males, unfortunately, right, that are naive to not see these games, with very few exceptions as well. And there is a woman's code, the one this applies to. They don't want to see no accountability for these type of sexual assaulter pervs of underage boys, because it's a certain type of woman's code for this. The one this applies to do that, which they are just as disgusting. The ones that are doing this, right? But let me go ahead and play. Let me actually go ahead and share this screen on this situation. Let me uh, make sure you can see this part. Let me make sure I get these things off here. Okay, as you see already here, Conestoga, maybe saying it right, wrong, in Conestoga, high school teacher facing 63 charges for allegedly having sex with a student, a boy student. Now, it's unfunny how the allegedly situation happens, because if this was a male student, there's no such thing as allegedly. It's, oh my goodness, we must sit there and castrate him. So, Michelle Magliano something, a special education teacher at Conestoga High School, was charged by the whoever enforcement people. See the picture? It's a video here. I'm going to play that in a second. See the deadly, sinister smile of a sexual assaulter of underage boys, a perv. Whatever this particular name it is, Pennsylvania, a Chester County Anglo minority teacher is facing 63 charges for allegedly having sex with a 16-year-old boy student. Michelle Magliano, 35, grown freaking woman, a special education teacher at Conestoga High School, was charged Wednesday by such and such enforcement. Today is May the 4th, 2025. The investigation began Monday when enforcement were contacted by the family members of a juvenile male student. A criminal complaint obtained by Action News states that the student, this boy, underage student, says they had socks, sex, about 12 times since February. The majority of the interactions allegedly happened at Magliano's Paris house in Malvern. Court documents also say she purchased medical marijuana for the student, the underage 16-year-old boy student, about 15 times at a dispensary in Phoenixville. An online post from the school district shows Magliano is an academic support teacher for 9th through 12th grade and also works as a adjunct professor at Macula something, not a something, university, teaching Italian. Wow. She's facing a long list of charges, including institutional sexual assault and corruption of minors. According to the criminal complaint, the suspect used the Snapchat app to surreptitiously, can't remember, you got the word in there, communicate with the victim. Here's a wild part. This Perv, Anglo minority woman, Magliano, is not yet in custody. They said investigating this say they learned from her attorney that she had an emergency medical issue. Once she's cleared, she expected to surrender with her attorney present. Do you know how piece of crap that sounds? If that was a male teacher, I don't care, or they wouldn't care if he sit there and collapsed. He would be arrested and be held in jail because they said, oh my goodness, he's a perv. He sexual assaulted, especially if it was a girl, he sexual assaulted a teenage girl. You see the non-equalityness of this. And the system and the feminists know this. Let's go ahead and play this particular video here.
The community is reeling in the wake of charges against a teacher accused of having a sexual relationship with a 16-year-old student.
Tonight, prosecutors say they are going to hold Michelle Mercogliano accountable, but they're still waiting for her to turn herself in.
Thursday night, the big story on Action News is new details in the case of a special education teacher facing disturbing accusations.
As parents of Conestoga High School students react to the news tonight, officials say she violated the trust that families should have in teachers.
Action News reporter Sharifa Jackson live for us now at Tredyffrin Township Police with more. And Sharifa, Michelle Mercogliano still is not in custody.
Yeah, still waiting for her to turn herself in. Investigators say they learned through her attorney that she had an emergency medical issue. Once she's cleared from that, they say she will be taken into custody. They're hoping that that is soon. Prosecutors, they hope for the highest bail possible.
Parents and students need to be able to trust that their teachers are going to be providing for students in all the right ways.
The Chester County District Attorney says in this case, 35-year-old Michelle Mercogliano did the exact opposite.
This is all the wrong ways, and we're going to hold this teacher accountable.
Mercogliano is now facing more than 60 charges, including sexual assault and corruption of minors. Mercogliano is now facing more than 60 charges, including sexual assault and corruption of minors. The special education teacher is accused of having a sexual relationship with a 16-year-old student who attended Conestoga High School in Tredyffrin Township, where she worked. She's also accused of giving him marijuana.
Obviously, you're always concerned about something like this coming up.
It's been 1 day since the news broke of the alleged inappropriate relationship, and parents are reacting.
But at the same time, you'll have people that do just like this. Give me a second. What are you talking about? Yes, we know that's kind of wrong. Oh my goodness, yeah, we know, but people make mistakes. People make mistakes and stuff like that. You got to give God's grace. Who are you, the judge? What's wrong with people? Males, toxic masculinity, misogyny. Oh my goodness. Right? You see how this little disgusting game goes, and you have personnel to, people would be, there's female minority Anglo minority woman, sexual pervert, former teacher, is supposed to be held accountable. Watch how that person will not be held overall accountable in any equalness if this was a male teacher that did this to a 16-year-old girl and then would sit there and what was it 60 some charges and he wouldn't be arrested on the spot. Again, this is what feminists do and numbers of the other sinister type of misandry type women do, the ones that sit there and laugh at this kind of stuff, knowing that it's not equal. The last thing I want to sit there and show is I want to look at this some comments at this video. All right, make sure you can see this part here. Hold on. Oh, let me play a few seconds of this particular video of this one.
We're learning more about a teacher in Chester County charged with dozens of crimes. Police say she had a sexual relationship with a student and gave him drugs. NBC 10's Deanna Durante spoke to the district attorney about their case. She joins us live in Berwyn with more. Deanna, what do you know?
Well, the district attorney tonight saying that this is yet another case that shows how important it is that parents and caregivers check their kids' devices, also the apps that they're using.
Parents and students need to be able to trust that their teachers are going to be providing for students in all the right ways. This is all the wrong ways, and we're going to hold this teacher accountable.
It was Michelle Mercogliano's first year as a teacher at Conestoga High School. The TE School District says she previously worked in elementary education. Court documents say it wasn't long after the year started, Mercogliano obtained a Snapchat handle for a student and began conversations.
We heard from family members that there was a concern that there was a sexual relationship between a student and teacher, and the Trevor Township Police Department dropped everything and they went to work.
Police say Mercogliano would often pick up the teen behind an apartment complex near the high school. They'd then travel to Phoenixville. That's where police say Mercogliano would obtain her medical marijuana. The two would smoke it and then engage in sexual activity. The victim tells police the majority of those interactions happened at a Malvern home. Investigators became aware of the allegations on Monday night. By Tuesday morning, they confiscated Mercogliano's cell phone and say Mercogliano was texting the victim as police were interviewing him about the case.
If you give your child a phone, you are giving the world access to your child, right? And so you need to make sure that you have an ability to see what's going on, not just on social media, but on that phone, right? Because some of these apps are designed to delete things after a day, or to only delete things after seconds.
While there is a warrant for Mercogliano, she's not yet been arraigned.
We learned from her attorney that the defendant had an emergent medical issue. We're able to confirm that, and once she is cleared, she will be promptly taken into custody.
Oh, sorry. Let me go back. Let me go back, Hero. Let me go back. Now, watch some of these comments. But before I show you these comments and finish up the show, again, notice how, again, it's just like, well, yeah, I mean, she did some wrong. Well, I mean, well, she had some kind of emergency situations, health, whatever it was. And, she'll turn herself in, however, then, whatever it is. Again, 60 plus freaking charges. It's supposed to be against her. 60 plus charges. Right? Having sexual relations with this underage 16-year-old boy. A guy, teacher, 35, 36, wherever she is, if that was a male teacher, 35, 36-year-old, and the child, underage girl, was 16 years old, and there was 60-some charges put upon him, again, they want him castrated. So the inequality of the unequal of justice part of it, that a numbers of female teachers, the one this applies to, the bad ones, can be sexual perverts, pedophiles, of underage boys and some girls, and they are not treated the same. Justice wise, is if it was a boy who did that, a male teacher who did that. So let's read some of these comments. So I'll finish up. Hold on. Look, let me make sure. Okay. Here we go. Now look at some of these comments. Oh, make sure we can see that. Okay. Hold on. Make sure. Okay. Right. Make sure. Now, make sure you see that here. Okay. All right. Here we go. Look at some of these comments. If this was a male teacher and a female student, he would get 40 years. But I bet she only gets a year, if that, or only a few years. And then, if she even finishes up that, she may get probation quicker. But watch the comments. Stop messing with these kids. Was the reply. These women of today are unhinged. It keeps being encouraged. White women, the ones it applies to. Why was she only put on leave and not fired? If it was a male teacher, he would have been fired on the spot. Hold on, but I want to go back to these comments. If this was a male teacher and a female student, he would have gotten 40 years, but I bet she only gets a year. But it was just comment right here. Try 10 plus years. And this fool said right here, I guess you don't read the papers. What they were trying to say is that, well, there are some numbers of female teachers that have done bad things that have gotten bull crap. A piece of crap, donkey shit of a person like that who said this comment should go to Hades. There is no damn, any type of evidence, correspondence of anything of reality that female teacher pervs, ones who have done this, to and sexual assaultiness, teenage boys, some girls too, but primarily teenage boys, that they've been sentenced on the same, any equivalent to if the very small amount of males who have done some things as male teachers doing certain things. There is no damn correspondence, any evidence that shows there is an equality of sentencing, right? Where that woman perv teacher who have done wrong things, to underage boys and some girls have got the same sentencing treatment, right? Now, let's keep going. She won't do a day over 3 years. They always get away with this type of abuse. Shame on her, child predator. Hiring practice for teachers are abysmal. And here's the crazy part about it. Where is the, oh my goodness, this teaching field, right, is a good old girls network. You know how there numbers of females and ones that's the female empowerment and feminists and all that kind of playing games, and oh my goodness, in engineering or for certain type of an area, oh my goodness, that's the good old boys network. They don't want women in there. Do you understand? But they don't say that same damn thing about how gigantic the teaching demographics is gigantic for women. But they don't say, oh my goodness, that's a good old girls network. We gotta have more male teachers. You don't hear the uproar for that, do you? You see the hypocrisy of that. What the heck is wrong with her? She couldn't find someone around her own age, at least of legal age. No, it's easier to find one in the classroom that will be there day in and day out. It amazes me that this keeps happening because the personnel is gullible and naive, right? The absolute lack of morals and scruples and ethics, no matter what the profession, no matter if they're a male or female, no. I'll be like telling her to go to Hades too. Don't even try to play a little switchery word runery. Where it's around. This ain't got anything to do with males, right? This has to do with continuously sexual assaulter, female numbers of teachers, pervs, messing with underage boys, right? And not getting the same sentencing, equality treatment and outrage as if it was a male teacher did that. So we're not going to play that little tactic. Well, here we go. I'm about to finish up. Here's where the piece of crap stuff. Unfortunately, you got some coon males out there and some gullible males out there, right? Oh no, that poor 16-year-old dude. What a victim. High fives, y'all. Look at the photos of the teacher and me, but I don't tell anyone. Whatever. Where were these hitches at when I was in school? Exactly. As a 16-year-old male, I used to dream about things like this happening to me. I wouldn't have had told a soul. The usual suspects. No, yeah, definitely usual. Somebody says, I noticed it is the lady teachers these days. What do you mean? What they noticed? This has been going on for years. When will people realize that kids of today are not going to keep their mouths shut? Kids of yesterday didn't keep their mouths shut, so what's the difference? They going playing silly games. 35 years and they slammer for this. Haha, yeah, okay. Probation. So I'm gonna stop right here. And the thing about it is, you said last couple of or some of the comments from Harvard, from coon males on that. Oh, I wish that was. I mean, when I was a male student, I wish there were some nice looking teachers like that, and they was having sexual relationships with that male teenage. You see the disgusting mentality, right? Of the hypocrisy of this. There are Harvard numbers of boy. Anyway, I'm going to all that. So the point is that the hypocrisy is very real, and people know that there are boy teachers in high school that have sex with older women too. When I say old, to my 20s. Sometimes it can be older, but that's a whole different conversation, right? Because hypocrisy, I don't go into all that, but the point of the problem is that if a young girl, she's in high school and she has relations with a older male, say in his 20s, oh my goodness, that's rapist. That's pervy. That's creepy that older male in his 20s having sex with that young teenage girl. You see the hypocrisy. But how many times, we're talking about right now, 2025, how many of these young girls in high school have sex with older males in their 20s? And it's barely a peep about that. But to some of those little coon males, see, if you be like, let's use some logical sense. So you're saying you wish that would happen to that person when they was in teenagers and they had some nice looking teachers. Oh my goodness, wish that would have happened to me. Oh, okay. So it's okay. So the question would be to them, oh, it's okay, right? So a 16-year-old girl, she can have sexual relations with a grown 30-something plus year old male teacher a dozen times and then give her mamawana. Oh, you think that's okay? Oh, man, you know darn well what they would say. Hell no, man. That's creepy. Man, give me a few minutes with him, man. I'm going to show him. You see the hypocrisy. And this is why I have to say again, unfortunately, there are some coon males, there are some gullible males out here. Oh, there's quite a number. And feminism loves those type of males. That's gullible. Because the thing about it is, that male can be the biggest and baddest, and there's always somebody biggest and baddest, and even the biggest baddest, there's somebody quicker than the biggest and baddest. So there's always checks and balances on that part. But the problem I'm saying is that that person can be the biggest male, the baddest male, whatever it is, and get another male's face and put some whooping on that person left and right, etc., etc. But when a woman gets in that person's face and slap the living snot toast out of his mouth, he's like a little bird. It won't do nothing to the one who put them hands on him. It happens every day somewhere. The numbers of males get assaulted every day by numbers of women in relationships, marriages, and girlfriend, contemporary boyfriend and girlfriend relationships, grown men and women relationships every day. There are grown women that slap the living snot toast out of men. And the male is bigger than her and stronger than her. And many males still tolerate it. But at the same time, women can put their hands on males left and right. And how many males have lost their lives or been injured by women assaulting males? And there's barely people about that. But if it's vice versa, well, you must attack women. You see how this hypocrisy goes in different directions. And they know that many numbers of males are not going to sit there and get pissed off and start demanding politicalness and start demanding equality for young males' protection. They're not going to sit there and demand politicalness and however personnel to say we need more domestic abuseness organizations for Pacific males. They know it's not going to happen. Because unfortunately, there's been a lot of ingrained numbers of males within various parts of America who just cannot compute that there are numbers of women that are not made of sugar and spice. And they certainly not everything nice, especially when they're not. And I'm talking about grown women. And there are numbers of males who cannot understand that those grown women are not made from sugar and spice and some cinnamon and some sugar, right? Some vanilla extract. No. But numbers of women out there are sexual assaulters, rapists, embezzlers, right? Racists. You get the point. And they know numbers of males still refuse to see the truth. I thank you for tuning in to the Real CP show.
Ha 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 ha.